Feeling weighed down by an endless stack of monthly bills can make the idea of building lasting wealth seem like a cruel, out-of-reach joke. When you are caught in the exhausting cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, the concept of leaving behind a financial legacy often feels reserved for trust fund babies and Wall Street insiders. The daily stress of just making it to the end of the month drains your mental energy, leaving absolutely nothing left to plan for your own future, let alone for the generations that will follow you. But the truth about achieving genuine financial freedom is far more encouraging than popular media portrays. You do not need a massive six-figure salary, a prestigious finance degree, or a sudden stroke of lottery luck to completely rewrite your family tree. The most enduring fortunes in the world are rarely built overnight through risky bets. They are constructed quietly, deliberately, and patiently by everyday people who simply decide to fundamentally change their relationship with money. Consider the inspiring journey of an ordinary working-class family who started with absolutely nothing but a shared, unwavering vision for a better future. They worked humble jobs with average incomes, facing the exact same economic pressures, inflation spikes, and unexpected household expenses that we all navigate today. Yet, through unyielding discipline and a commitment to simple financial truths, they managed to build a multi-generational empire that continues to thrive and expand decades later. Before they could even think about investing in the market, they had to confront the heavy anchor holding them back, which was their high-interest consumer debt. They attacked this burden using proven strategies like the debt snowball, where you pay off balances from smallest to largest to build powerful psychological momentum, and the debt avalanche, which targets the highest interest rate debts first to save the absolute most money mathematically. By committing fiercely to these methods, they systematically dismantled the financial traps that keep most people perpetually broke. Executing this escape plan required a fundamental, highly intentional shift in how they managed their daily household cash flow. They tracked every single dollar that entered their bank account, cutting ruthless expenses on fleeting luxuries so they could pour every available cent into their debt elimination strategy. It was a period of intense, deliberate sacrifice, but it was driven by the clear understanding that every dollar paid to a credit card company was a dollar stolen directly from their own future real quick. If budgeting and paying off debt still feel overwhelming, I built something to fix that. It's called the Wealth Playbook. It's a simple app where you plug in your income and your debts, and it instantly shows you a budget that actually works and the fastest way to be debt-free. No spreadsheets, no logins, no finance degree required. I made it for exactly where most of us start. From scratch, the link's in the description. Go check it out and let me know your debt-free date in the comments. This link in all descriptions. http://dividend-playbook.com Wealth. Once the final high-interest debt was cleared, a profound sense of liberation and possibility washed over their household. The significant portion of their monthly income that used to vanish into endless interest payments was suddenly theirs to command, creating a powerful surplus of cash. This was the critical turning point where financial defense finally turned into offense, and the real exciting work of building lasting wealth could begin in earnest. Rather than chasing speculative trends or attempting high-risk day trading, they anchored their entire strategy in the proven stability of dividend investing. They focused on acquiring shares in highly profitable, established companies that distribute a portion of their earnings back to shareholders in direct cash payments. They paid close attention to the dividend yield, which is simply the annual dividend payment divided by the stock price, representing the percentage return you get just for holding the asset in your portfolio. This approach fundamentally changed their perspective on what it actually means to participate in the stock market. They stopped viewing stocks as digital lottery tickets that bounce unpredictably on a computer screen and started seeing them as literal ownership stakes in real businesses that produce goods, provide essential services, and generate massive profits. They became silent partners in some of the most successful companies on earth, proudly collecting a share of the profits without ever having to clock in for a shift. A major hurdle that consistently derails many new investors is the emotional panic that sets in during inevitable market downturns. When the financial news screams about an impending crash and portfolio balances temporarily drop in value, the natural human instinct is to sell everything in fear, locking in permanent, devastating losses. This emotional reactivity is exactly how everyday people destroy their own wealth-building potential before it even has a fair chance to take root and grow. But our family understood deeply that market volatility is simply the necessary price of admission for long-term growth, not a valid reason to abandon the plan. When stock prices dipped, they did not panic or lose sleep. Instead, they viewed it as a rare, exciting opportunity to buy more shares of excellent companies at a steep discount. Because their primary focus was on the steady, reliable cash flow generated by their dividends, the daily fluctuations of stock prices became completely irrelevant to their profound peace of mind. This steadfast patience allowed them to harness the most powerful mathematical force in all of finance, which is compound interest. Compound interest is the magnificent process where the money your investments earn begins to earn money of its own, creating a massive snowball effect of accelerating growth over time. It is the invisible, tireless engine that turns modest, consistent contributions into staggering sums of wealth if left completely uninterrupted for long enough. To maximize this incredible compounding effect, they instituted a strict, non-negotiable rule that would define their financial trajectory for decades to come. Every single time a dividend payment landed in their brokerage account, they absolutely refused to spend it on lifestyle upgrades or temporary comforts. Instead, they automatically reinvested every single penny right back into buying more shares, which in turn produced even more dividends the following quarter, accelerating the cycle. As the years steadily rolled by, the tangible results of this disciplined reinvestment cycle became nothing short of miraculous. What started as a few humble dollars a month in passive income grew into hundreds and eventually thousands of dollars, completely replacing the income they earned from their demanding day jobs. The portfolio had taken on a vibrant life of its own, generating enough robust cash flow to sustain their entire lifestyle without ever requiring them to touch the principal balance. To protect this growing empire from unforeseen economic shocks, they mastered the critical concept of asset allocation as their wealth expanded. Asset allocation is the strategic method of dividing your investment portfolio across different asset categories, like domestic stocks, international equities, and bonds, to carefully balance risk and reward according to your specific goals. By intelligently diversifying their holdings across various sectors of the global economy, they ensured that a downturn in one single industry would never devastate their entire financial foundation. With their own retirement fully secured by this unstoppable stream of passive income, their perspective naturally shifted toward the distant horizon of a multi-generational legacy. They realized with profound clarity that the true ultimate purpose of their wealth was not just to fund their own golden years, but to provide a permanent financial fortress for their children and grandchildren. The portfolio beautifully transformed from a simple retirement account into a powerful, enduring family institution. However, the most daunting challenge in sustaining multi-generational wealth is not navigating the complexities of the stock market, but navigating the frailties of human nature. Statistics clearly show that the vast majority of family fortunes are completely squandered by the second or third generation due to a tragic lack of financial education and an overwhelming sense of entitlement. Passing down a massive brokerage account without passing down the rigorous discipline required to manage it is a guaranteed recipe for total financial disaster. Knowing this undeniable truth, the founders of this family portfolio prioritized comprehensive financial education above all else within their household. They taught their children the exact same humble principles that built the wealth in the very first place, emphasizing the absolute value of hard work, the extreme danger of consumer debt, and the vital necessity of living well below their means. The children were brought into the family financial discussions early, learning exactly how to read a balance sheet and understand the mechanics of a dividend yield long before they ever inherited a single dime. When the time eventually came for the original, hardworking creators of this wealth to pass on, the transition was seamless and deeply, profoundly meaningful. They left behind a massive, incredibly well-oiled financial machine, but infinitely more importantly, they left behind a generation perfectly equipped to operate it with respect. The grief of their passing was beautifully softened by the overwhelming gratitude for the immense, selfless sacrifices they had made decades earlier. The second generation stepped into their new roles not as lottery winners looking for a quick payout, but as careful, deeply respectful stewards of a sacred family trust. They maintained the exact same core philosophy of aggressively reinvesting dividends, letting the compounding process continue its quiet, relentless work across another entire span of decades. The wealth did not just barely survive the generational transfer, it multiplied exponentially, proving the absolute durability of their foundational, time-tested strategy. Hearing about a multi-generational triumph like this might make you feel a heavy pang of regret, thinking you are starting too late or have already made too many mistakes to ever catch up. Please hear this clearly and take it to heart. The absolute best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is right now, today. Your past financial missteps do not dictate your future potential in any way. as long as you are willing to draw a firm line in the sand and change your trajectory immediately. Your own family's massive financial revolution begins the very moment you decide to take absolute, uncompromising control of your next paycheck. It starts with the unglamorous, gritty work of tracking your expenses, ruthlessly attacking your outstanding debts, and carving out that crucial, life-changing margin to begin your investing journey. You must bravely reject the intense societal pressure to consume endlessly and instead embrace the quiet, immensely empowering dignity of becoming a true owner. Fast forward in your mind and vividly imagine looking back at this exact moment 20 years from now, proudly surveying the impenetrable financial fortress you have constructed from the ground up. Picture the absolute, unshakable peace of mind that comes from knowing your daily bills are entirely covered by passive income and that your children will never have to endure the crushing financial stress that once kept you awake at night. That beautiful reality is not a fantasy, it is a mathematical certainty for those who fiercely stay the course. We must always remember that true, lasting wealth is inherently quiet, endlessly patient, and intensely methodical in its execution. It is never found in flashy cars, designer clothes, or the stressful illusion of status that keeps so many people permanently trapped in a vicious cycle of borrowing. It is built steadily in the background, one carefully purchased share, one faithfully collected dividend, and one automatic reinvestment at a time, echoing powerfully through the decades. You possess the inherent, undeniable power to completely rewrite the financial destiny of everyone who comes after you in your family line. The essential tools, the foundational knowledge, and the exact playbook used by the most successful ordinary families are entirely within your grasp right now. Step forward with bold confidence, commit fully to the long game, and let the multi-generational story of your family's lasting wealth begin today. It's called the Wealth Playbook. It's a simple app where you plug in your income and your debts, and it instantly shows you a budget that actually works and the fastest way to be debt-free. No spreadsheets, no logins, no finance degree required. I made it for exactly where most of us start, from scratch. The link's in the description. Go check it out and let me know your debt-free date in the comments. This link in all descriptions. http://dividend playbook, Gumroad. Real quick, if budgeting and paying off debt still feel overwhelming, I built something to fix that. It's called the Wealth Playbook. It's a simple app where you plug in your income and your debts, and it instantly shows you a budget that actually works and the fastest way to be debt-free. No spreadsheets, no logins, no finance degree required. I made it for exactly where most of us start, from scratch. The link's in the description. Go check it out and let me know your debt-free date in the comments. This link in all descriptions. https://dividend playbook, gumroad.com, wealth.